All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Sunday, July 11th, 2021. I'm just doing a quick check on the futures. Futures opening a little bit higher here. We'll be monitoring that as we go into the week. But today I want to talk about some trades, possible setups, some charts that I do like on the long side here. As I've been generally very picky as far as what I'm looking at on the long side. I think this market's very long in the tooth, as you guys know, but there are a few setups that I really like, and some areas that are looking attractive. So first off, I'm just going to get started here. We're looking at Alibaba here, but mainly I'm talking about the Chinese stocks in general. So we had this breakdown last week in Alibaba, broke through that pivot there around $200. Had a nice little flush here, and then we got a good bounce on Friday. So typically this looks like a breakdown, and technically it is a breakdown on the chart. However, if you pull this back a little bit farther, again, weekly, still holding the 200 moving average, although it is minor as you've consolidated above it. So we consider this a minor area of support now. However, the more dominant time frame is the monthly time frame, as we know. And look at what we've done on the monthly. So we did break this trend line, yes, but more importantly, here's the 50 moving average on the monthly. You're also returning to a previous breakout area, and you're testing that now. So Alibaba, to me, gets interesting here. Now, it could trade as low as maybe the 175, 180 area. However, if you're interested in accumulating it here, I wouldn't be against that. Also, looking at Baidu, for instance, Baidu is actually holding up pretty well also on the daily. It's holding this low pivot here at about 175, 180, and we're kind of just stuck in this range right now. But the sentiment on Chinese stocks is very negative right now, and that's something that gets my attention. I like that. I want to see sentiment poor. That's, I'm a contrarian investor a lot of time, and I think that there's sort of a hysteria towards the Chinese stocks right now. The Chinese Communist Party they're really flexing their muscles right now, but they're not going to really destroy their own flagship stocks, Baidu, Alibaba. They're just flexing their muscles, and eventually they're going to, China's a very proud country. So this regulatory talk, yeah, short term it is bad, and it's going to cause some knee-jerk reactions, but long term these stocks are very good, very attractive at these levels. Again, Baidu could possibly trade down a little bit lower here. I could see it in the 160, 155 range at some point, but they are starting to get very attractive here. Now, some of the names that I am in right now, Joy Inc. This one, I love this chart. It is extremely oversold, and you're going into a lot of support here, a lot of institutional money in this area. So this is one I added to on Thursday, and we got a nice bounce on Friday. So this should head back, and this is one that when we get a squeeze, it should be up 10-12% in one day. Again, also IQ a little bit. Again, you guys know I'm long this one. A little bit disappointing with the action last week, but we held this gap fill, and this should give us a nice pop next week. Now, let's be clear that we do have options X this coming week. So a lot of time stocks that are beaten down will trade higher during OpX as the institutions tend to flush out the people who are jumping down on the put side, and stocks that are up into OpX week tend to get hit, and you see some profit taking as the institutions push the stocks lower to flush out those greedy call buyers. One of those stocks I'm talking about, actually two of them really, is Apple. So Apple, nice little run here. We were long this last week, actually 2 weeks ago. We took profits into this double top, did not think it was going to be able to get through that easily, and now it's into a higher double top, which is an all-time high. Again, this one, little short-term overbought going into OpEx. This one is a candidate for a pullback for me, or at least a period of chop. Same thing with Amazon. Amazon breaking out of this double top, but again, a little bit long in the tooth right now. Would not surprise me to see a pullback to frustrate some of those call buyers who tried to chase this thing higher. Another name to watch here is NVIDIA. Now, this thing does have a stock split, I believe, on the 19th. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure it's the 19th, which would be the following Monday. And this thing probably will hold up into that. However, again, another huge run over the last, really since March, but In the last month or so, it's had a really nice run. So it would not surprise me to see this thing trade lower in Opex week to flush out some of those people who've been chasing this thing higher. So just keep an eye on those FANG names that have had a nice run here. So I'm not looking to get into any of those, but I just wanted to point that out that with Opex week coming up, you have the Chinese names that are beaten down, and then you have some of these FANG stocks that are really overbought. I mean, look at Microsoft, another big one, Google, look how overbought these are. So would not surprise me to see a pullback in these names. Now, that said, the sectors that I'm really liking right now are the airline stocks. And we're going to start with Boeing, which is actually a hybrid play. So this is so Boeing's hybrid in airline and defense. I love this pattern. I love this candle that we put in on Thursday. We trade back down into this trend line, you gap below it, and then you have a reversal on good volume, follow through the next day. If this thing chops sideways this week, I will be looking for a long entry. I really like this pattern. This is a nice bullish consolidation, or excuse me, a nice bullish reversal into gap fill, and then you had a false breakdown with the gap lower, and eventually closed back above that neckline. And now you're kind of just, if we can put in some consolidation here, I'll absolutely look to go long. On the weekly chart, also looking pretty good too. It's just putting in some pressure to attack these highs. I think your short-term targets would be, basically double top here, and then if you get through that, you get up to 320 at this gap window. So I really like Boeing here. And if you look at some of the other defense names, we'll take a look here at, let's just take a look at Lockheed Martin. This is also a very, very nice setup, especially on the weekly chart. You're in an uptrend, nice consolidation, and what you're doing is you're consolidating to attack this and attack this red bar. So this is a good setup as well. Lockheed, Halliburton also, not a bad chart setup on the weekly. You had this test candle here and pushed higher on to close above the 20 on the weekly. So nice consolidation to go in and attack this 200 moving average. Also, Raytheon, a little bit longer in the tooth here, but again, putting in a nice consolidation. Might need to do a little bit of work, but ultimately it's trying to attack this gap window and this ultimate gap here at 95. So liking these defense names, but also again, to get more specific with the airliners, if we look at the jets here, I love this weekly chart setup. Actually, the daily is great too. You have this pretty big pullback here. Went right into the 200 moving average, gap below it, and then reversed. And if you look on the weekly chart, look at all these test candles here. So eventually they got it to break down a bit. You have 6 weeks in a row down right into this moving average necktie and the previous breakout. I love jets here. Pretty much take your pick. I like Southwest and JetBlue the best. I'll probably pick one of those to go long. American Airlines, however, has had some nice performance over the last couple of months. In fact, if I show you here, we'll just pull up the jets again. And if we just add some of these airlines on here, give me 1 second here, just bear with me. And so if we compare these here, notice American Airlines here outperforming really in the last year. And then, so if we notice over the last year, American Airlines outperforming, Southwest outperforming really since the, since the March 2020 lows we have, and then I believe JetBlue, there it is, outperforming as well. But over the last year, American Airlines has covered some ground. As you can see, the purple line there, it's actually gotten a double top. Let's see here. Just go back to main. We just take a look at American Airlines. So notice how American Airlines has made its double top recently, whereas you have the other airline stocks still putting in nice consolidation, but did not get back to double top in this in the last couple of months. There's Southwest, there's Delta, Boeing. So American Airlines showing some strength. So again, you basically take your pick. You could just play the JETS, but I'd prefer to go with the stronger names. So I'll probably take a JetBlue or a Southwest or maybe American Airlines. I'm looking at possibly entering Boeing and an airline, maybe taking like a half position of each, and just kind of like so I can get a hybrid play, a little bit of exposure to defense, a little bit of exposure to the airline stocks. But I like these plays going into the next couple of weeks into the month of August. Also, another stock that I got to mention here when I was talking about the FANG that I really like, and I think I talked about this recently, I really like Netflix here. This is a tough one. So, like a lot of these FANG names, like if we look at Amazon, Nvidia, Google, Microsoft. Look at how extended Facebook. Look at how extended these names are from on their monthly chart from the 20 moving average. Netflix is really one of the top, say top 20 market cap stocks. That's actually this is a nice chart. This is a nice consolidation on the monthly time frame. This is what you want to look for. So I don't like to chase stocks. I don't chase things at all-time highs when they're just higher every single day when they're that extended. I mean, look at the chart of Google. I mean, this is ridiculous. Nvidia. I mean, they're ridiculous. I mean, yeah, they had a nice consolidation, but I mean, still look at how parabolic that is. But Netflix is actually one, if you're going to pick a tech stock to own, this is the one to own, in my opinion. Like this is actually a good consolidation pattern. You have the 20 moving average starting to catch up to price. And the daily chart, you're kind of building this bullish base to attack this gap. I actually, if there's one tech stock I'd own, it's Netflix for sure. So this is one that's also on my radar as well. But yeah, just wanted to get that little video out for you on some stocks that I'm looking at. So again, like in the airlines, the Chinese stocks are starting to get intriguing. And in the tech sector, a lot of things are a little long in the tooth right now, but I do like the longer term chart of Netflix and in the short term as well. But anyway, you guys take care, and we'll talk to you later this week on the charts.